Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The medical marijuana. The medical marijuana. Radio show. The medical marijuana for you and me. Ah, yeah, the medical marijuana. Whoa, 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 yeah, the medical. It's the medical marijuana show. You will know.
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. Hey, boy, don't feel my world untrue. Yeah, I want to talk to you. My world can be true if you do what I tell you to. I want to talk to you.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome once again to another edition of Medical Marijuana Radio for Saturday, the 9th of January, 2016. I'm your host, Larry Love. We're here every week with a new show on Saturdays to bring you the latest information on medical cannabis and recreational adult use of cannabis from all over the globe. This week, we have a pretty interesting show. We have two interviews, a short interview about the Cloud 420 mansion party that's going to happen on the next Saturday, the 16th, and we'll tell you all about that. And then also there's a wonderful little event coming up, well, not little, it's going to be pretty big actually, in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's called the International Cannabis Experience. We'll be talking to Jeremy Norrie about that in the second half of the show. But first, as always, we have news for you. And first up, this week, I believe it on Thursday, New York started their medical cannabis program. It's not a great program. They don't even allow bud. It's just pills and patches, no edibles either. So it's pretty controversial, and it's not working for everybody. So here is this report from Albany, New York.
Compassionate Care Act is ready to launch this week, 18 months after it was signed by the governor. But if you ask patients, there's still a lot of details that need to be addressed. News 10 ABC's Trishna Begum joins us live at one of the local dispensaries right in Albany. She's been dedicated to following this story from the beginning. Trishna.
Yeah, Elisa, still a lot of issues that need to be addressed, like how much this stuff is going to cost. No word on that from the health department either. But here at Etain, you can see they are getting ready to open up their doors tomorrow. People inside cleaning. This is not your typical pharmacy. You can see inside that there's really no medicine on display. All of that is behind those walls in a secured location. But now the question is, when these doors open up tomorrow, are there going to be any patients here?
Because without the doctors, this is not going to matter.
And that's really the crux of this problem. As the medical marijuana program in New York gets ready to launch, those on the receiving end are frustrated.
And the fact that they really haven't made it accessible to these children who are still dying.
Melissa Hilt, whose daughter Haley has a rare form of epilepsy, has been an advocate of the Compassionate Care Act from the very start. She's done her research, says her doctor is on board, and yet she still can't get Haley the medicine she needs.
Until we have a physician who can give us a certification number, we cannot register.
Problem is, Melissa doesn't know about the doctors who registered. That's because the State Department of Health hasn't released any of that information. When I called to get some answers, they refused to be interviewed on the phone, but via email they wrote, quote, the Department of Health will soon post a list of those registered physicians who consent to providing their names and specialties. And when I asked them about the timeline, the Health Department wrote back, it will be soon.
Okay, so there's no official date as to when Albany Med will start.
Today, Melissa was on the phone with Albany Med to find out if their doctors would be participating.
What they said was that they are participating, but there's no date as to when they will start.
There's a strong level of frustration, I guess, with everybody, with the registered organizations, with the patient advocacy groups.
Albany Med says they're still developing their policies, but have nothing more to share. So 18 months after the Compassionate Care Act was signed, Melissa and her daughter are still left waiting.
A lot of doctors, honestly, doctors don't want to deal with it.
And that last person you heard from, that was Dr. Francisco Gomez. He may be the key, at least for some patients. Now, how did I find him if the Department of Health hasn't released any lists and Albany Med really isn't saying much? More on that coming up at 6 o'clock. For now, I'm live in Albany. Trishna Begum, News 10, ABC.
All right.
So the program has started, and according to what I heard, not a lot of people, are signed up, as they just said, because doctors, just as they are in most states, are a little bit leery of making recommendations for this wonderful medicine because they're not educated about it. But there, in some states, there's other kinds of controversy. This is sort of an interesting one. In Auburn, Maine, a school committee has approved to allow children be administered their cannabis oil and their medicine at the school. So this is interesting and groundbreaking, actually.
The Auburn schools are among the first in the nation to adopt a medical marijuana policy. School leaders passed the policy tonight at a committee meeting in Auburn, and that is where we find WMTW News 8's Courtney Sturgeon. And Courtney, when exactly does it take effect?
Steve, the new policy goes into effect immediately, and now this means that any student with a medical marijuana certificate will be allowed to receive that drug on campus when it's prescribed by a doctor and administered by a primary caregiver. Now, school officials at tonight's meeting say that it's the first of its kind in the state, and they've adopted this policy in accordance with state law. It's a proactive step protecting staff from liability and providing students with a safe place on campus to receive treatment. The policy allows only a primary caregiver, not school nurses, to bring the drug on school property and administer it to a child. Last month, school leaders approved a draft of the policy, and the committee says few people oppose the proposal.
There was plenty of opportunity for people to voice that, and we've had none, which I think is a reflection of the community's acceptance of the need of something like this, but we've also had no request. Nothing has happened in our schools. We have no immediate need to pass this policy. We're just kind of getting out in front of the issue.
As you just heard, school officials say they don't know of any students in Auburn schools currently who are in need of this treatment during the school day. But if that happens, they'll only be allowed to have the non-smokable form in schools and on school property. Live in Auburn, Courtney Sturgeon, WMTW News 8.
So again, that is controversial. It's the first state that I know that's allowing children to get their medicine administered to them at school, which is definitely a step forward. Here's another step forward. Here's a court case that was thrown out after potential jurors refused to convict anyone for weed. This is absolutely fantastic. And here's this report.
Last week, a Montana man was arrested for having a 1/16 of an ounce of pot on him, barely enough to roll a joint. And Montana is generally considered a fairly conservative state. So this guy's facing drug possession charges, but his case never went to trial. The reason why is amazing. The judge in the case could not seat a jury willing to convict the man. In pretrial interviews, this is before people knew who he was, what the crime was, how much pot he had, anything. One potential juror after another, one after another, said they would not be willing to find someone guilty for only having a few buds of marijuana in their possession. Eventually, because he couldn't find jurors, the judge was forced to call a recess, acknowledging there was no way he could put together a fair jury. During that recess, a plea deal was worked out, and the man essentially got off without admitting any guilt. The judge in this case, Dusty Deschamps, claimed that in his 30 years on the bench, 30 years on the bench, he'd never seen anything like it. I say, let's hope we continue to see more of the same. Every year, at least 50,000 people die in our country due to alcohol. 50,000. In the history of our nation, and even the 200 years before we officially became the United States of America, a nation, you know how many people died from a dose of marijuana, or an overdose, or a massive dose? 0. 500 years on this continent, not a single person, and tens of thousands of years before that, Native Americans. Nobody has ever died from pot. We have this bizarre double standard in our country that we have legalized and even embraced to a certain extent the use of alcohol, but we vilify pot and its users. It makes no sense. Alcohol causes long-term dementia. It corrodes your liver, and it can cause death when overdosed. Pot does none of those things. It may affect your short-term memory, but only while you're high. I mean, both drugs produce a mild intoxication, and marijuana's side effects pale in comparison to alcohol. So if any of these two drugs should be illegal, which should it be? Not to mention the enormous medical benefits of pot. Benefits that 15 states and Washington, D.C. have now recognized by legalizing medical marijuana. The only people pot has killed are those who've been locked up for its possession and had their lives forever altered because of it. When I was a kid, a friend of mine went to prison for pot. He was a good friend. It destroyed him. It broke him. When he came back, he was never the same again. 2 grams, and then our criminal justice system ruins your life. This is insanity. Our prisons are overpopulated, and more than 10% of all the offenders are guilty of pot-related offenses. If we legalize this, we immediately solve this problem. Not to mention the tens of billions of dollars that can be saved by not enforcing marijuana laws in our nation's war on drugs, a black hole of financial waste and ineffective law enforcement. In November, Prop 19 failed in California. It would have legalized small amounts of pot for personal use. While support for legalization is growing, it's not quite strong enough to take on special interest corporations who have a lot of money at stake to ensure that pot isn't legal. In the meantime, I think we should pursue the strategy of a few dozen jurors in Montana. Next time we receive that jury summons in the mail, think of it as a chance to exercise some political activism. Let's all take a stand and refuse to convict people for simple marijuana possession. It's our duty as a jury of peers.
Absolutely, and more of this is obviously going to happen, and more legalization is going to happen this year, 2016. So it's quite exciting to see the future. Coming up this week, January 23rd and 24th, there's a Cannabis Health Summit, which is a free online summit and seminar with lots of speakers. Here is this report. I've already signed up for it, and it's free, so why not? You're going to learn a lot about the use of cannabis for your health. So here we go.
Good health is one of the most important aspects of a happy life. Unfortunately, a lot of people around the world right now are suffering. Over 13 million people are living with cancer. Over 65 million people are dealing with epilepsy. Over 350 million people are struggling with arthritis, and over 1.5 billion people are managing their chronic pain. Fortunately, one plant is showing early signs of addressing many of our world's most prominent health challenges, although it does carry a fair amount of misconceptions and stigma from decades of propaganda. It's called Cannabis, and it's time you learn all about it from the world's top experts.
Hi there, I'm Max Simon from Green Flower, and we're thrilled to invite you to the world's first virtual Cannabis Health Summit, which will feature 20 of the world's top scientists, doctors, and entrepreneurs who will teach you everything you need to know about using cannabis for health and wellness today. We'll cover topics like the endocannabinoid system and how cannabis actually interacts with the body, to learning how cannabis can treat symptoms and illnesses like cancer, epilepsy, insomnia, and depression, to even little secrets about how you can get the most out of your cannabis as medicine. Here's the best news. As a way to reach the largest possible audience, you can watch this entire event from the comfort of your own home in real time for free. To register, click the link right below this video and sign up now to watch this event for free. Remember, January 23rd and 24th is right around the corner, so don't wait. And we look forward to helping you learn cannabis from the world's top cannabis experts.
I will put the link on the YouTube description after I publish the show. Again, it seems really interesting. They're going to have all kinds of speakers there. My friend Nurse Heather will be there, and I'm very excited to hear this. So check for the link in the YouTube box. Next up, in California, Merced, there's some nuns that are making some wonderful topicals, and the city of Merced is trying to ban growing marijuana in cannabis. So here's this report. And here it is again.
Well, the new year marks the first anniversary of a marijuana-based business in Merced. The Sisters of the Valley have been producing salves and tonics made with cannabis. Now, while their products won't make anyone high, they are fighting to keep the city council from putting them out of business. Action News reporter Jane Higginson visited the Sisters of the Valley today and joins us live from Merced City Hall with their story. Jane.
Yeah, Graciela, the city council is about to consider next week whether to completely ban marijuana growing in the city of Merced. Now, a lot of people are upset by that, including the two Sisters of the Valley, who see their manufacture of marijuana-based medicines as a spiritual quest.
Sister Kate and Sister Darcy are tending their small crop of marijuana plants in the garage of the home they share in Merced. They consider themselves nuns, but are not Catholic or even traditionally religious.
All of our prayer goes into our work.
They produce a variety of products made from the cannabinoids or CBDs found in the marijuana plant. Their plants do not contain THC, the substance that creates the marijuana high. They believe creating these healing goods is a spiritual quest.
So we spend no time on bended knee, but when we make our medicine, it's a prayerful environment. It's a prayerful time.
Videos of their operation set to music have become popular on the internet. It's Sister Kate's business. Sister Darcy is her apprentice.
It's more for me about the sisterhood and the feminist movement, to live and work with other women and to do a positive thing for the community. And obviously for the world, because we ship it everywhere.
They sell their product online at Etsy, a web market known for handmade, handcrafted items. They claim their substances offer a treatment for a whole lot of problems.
We make CBD oil, which takes away seizures and a million other things. And we make a salve that's a multi-purpose salve. And we found out that it cures migraines, hangovers, earaches, diaper rash, toothaches.
But their production is threatened. The Merced City Council is considering a proposed ban on all marijuana cultivation.
Yes, it's frustrating to me because there are all these people with negative attitudes about something that is truly God's gift.
The sisters and their supporters are hoping to keep what they're doing legal.
Embrace, regulate, and tax. That's all we want them to do.
Now, the sisters went before the Planning Commission for the city recently, and they won a recommendation that medical marijuana cultivation be allowed to continue in the city of Merced. It'll be up to the city council next week. Now, their supporters hope to get together this weekend at the Coffee Bandits restaurant to plan their strategy before the city council. Reporting live in Merced, Gene Higginson, ABC 30 Action News.
So we'll have to watch and see what happens with that. These ladies were making these fantastic topicals for years, and now the city wants to shut them down. Here's another one that sort of angers me a bit. There's a new sleep apnea pill. Now, I suffer from a little sleep apnea, and it's derived from synthetic cannabis. Okay, so the FDA, which has already approved dronabinol, which is a fake synthetic made to mimic our wonderful nature's plant, they're going to get it approved for sleep apnea. Now that is good, but this also tells us that it's soon to become legal as the plant. We use the plant, obviously for our ills. So when the federal government, who owns the patent 6630507 on cannabinoids, makes synthetics, it's a little silly when you can use the real plant. So here is this.
More than 12 million Americans suffer with sleep apnea, a potentially serious disorder that can cause your breathing to start and stop during sleep. The condition can also lead to a host of health problems, including heart disease.
Now, a much-needed new treatment containing ingredients derived from cannabis is being developed. Health specialist Denise Tador has the details.
Getting a good night's sleep hasn't been easy for Lisa Smith. Each night is the same.
Wide awake, tossing and turning.
She was diagnosed with sleep apnea last year after her daughter overheard her trying to sleep.
She says, you sound like somebody's in that room, started motorcycles in your room. She said, you snore real loud and sometimes you're not coming back.
Doctors prescribed this CPAP machine.
Put this to it and just breathe.
To help her restless nights.
The CPAP, although it helps me sleep, I get these marks. I got to wait all day to try to pump my face back up because I got the marks all over my face.
But now researchers are studying a new pill that could change that.
This would be the first of its kind for sleep apnea.
Known as dronabinol, if approved, this synthetic form of cannabis would be taken once at nighttime, says Dr. Ronil Malkani.
It is a medication that we think acts on nerve cells in the brain that activate the muscles in the upper airway,
helping keep them open for more restful sleep, just what Lisa longs for.
If it will put me to sleep, I would do it.
The drug has been used in cancer patients to gain weight and to control nausea. The dosage for sleep apnea is much smaller, but researchers are hopeful the only side effect will be a good night's sleep. Denise Tudor, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
So that's sort of good news, bad news. It's bad news that they're approving it as a synthetic derived from, when they say derived from cannabis, it's really mimicking cannabis. So obviously in the future, if it is approved as a sleep apnea pill, we'll be getting some real whole plant sleep apnea pills made from the plant itself. So there's always, in new states that legalize for cannabis, there's always opposition who just don't get it. So here is a report about opposition arises when the state is opening up new marijuana dispensaries.
The day many people have been waiting for, medical marijuana is becoming available in New York State.
There are 20 dispensaries across the state, and 2 of those are here in Erie County. The State Department of Health says 150 doctors can legally prescribe medical marijuana. Now, despite today's launch, many patients still don't have access to the drug. They say they're still waiting for an ID card from the state. One local doctor anticipates up to 500 of his patients will be candidates for medical marijuana.
New York State did not give us any form of guidelines. So when a patient comes to me, it's going to be my opinion, my research, but no experience and no science. So that's a risk.
Medical marijuana is recognized by many national health organizations as a legitimate form of medicine, but not everyone is convinced.
Some think it could lead to other problems. News 4's Ellie Ingersoll's in the newsroom tonight with more on why people are against it.
Don and Jackie, while the state will soon be selling medical marijuana, some people say the decision to distribute it came too soon, without enough research to back the decision to prescribe it.
I personally do think it was too soon.
Ellen Morehouse works for a New York State substance abuse prevention agency. She says she thinks there are flaws to the system the state has in place for these dispensaries.
I think New York should have waited for the Food and Drug Administration to do the testing and the regulation.
She has fears about what will happen if those who do have prescriptions start relying on marijuana.
One of the most dangerous things is that somebody, for example, who's experiencing pain uses the New York medical marijuana as opposed to figuring out what's really causing the pain.
Avi Israel has different fears about medical marijuana.
What we're doing right now is a knee-jerk reaction.
Israel's son Michael took his own life after struggling with an opioid addiction. When his son first had pain, Israel says he advocated for him to be prescribed pain pills without knowing much about them.
I will not mortgage my kid's future on that. I made a mistake once. My advice is, don't do it.
He says he thinks there needs to be long-term studies looking at the benefits and risks of marijuana. And if he sees the benefits outweighing the risks, then he says his position would change.
I think that before we go and start approving medication to people, we need to get off of this fast-track approval.
20 dispensaries staffed by pharmacists will be opening around the state. There are restrictions on the forms of marijuana sold. While there can be oils, extracts, and pills, the smoking and edible types of marijuana cannot be sold, something different than some other states' laws. In the newsroom, Allie Ingersoll, News 4 at 11.
So once again, these people are uninformed. There's so many studies. There's 50 years worth of studies coming out of Dr. Raphael Mechoulam in Israel. There's studies in Spain. Where else? Germany, the UK, the Netherlands. You know, these people have to rely on the countries that have been studying this for years, and they have the knee-jerk reaction that we need more information, but we really don't. Again, 6630507 is a patent that the United States government has and has had for many, many years on cannabinoids, saying that it's good for Alzheimer's, multiple sclerosis, it shrinks tumors, Parkinson's, ALS, it goes on and on. So we need to stop denying people this medicine and make the medical industry a federally run medical industry for every state, so that people can get the medicine that they need and the best medicine that is their choice. Next up, this is something that I've experienced in the last couple of weeks. Police are using social media for marijuana stings. Now, I've had a couple of requests from some people that look like they're from other countries trying to sell me cannabis over Facebook. And don't be asking me, you people out there. If you're really trying to sell it, fine. I'm going to turn you down and tell you I don't do anything illegal. But if you're a cop, I'm also going to tell you I don't do anything illegal. Here is this report. And coming up, 1, 2.
Denver police are posing as pod growers on Facebook and conducting sting operations.
And they have lured at least one deal worth tens of thousands of dollars. CBS 4 investigator Rick Salinger has been looking into the case and the problem.
Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, all part of the internet's high-tech marketplace for drugs. Here on Instagram, this post reads, "Place your order today. Get shipped out before 8 a.m. It was on Facebook where Denver police say 26-year-old Sean Edelson responded to a picture placed by them in a well-planned sting. It was a photo of a marijuana grow with the words, "Getting close to peak, taking orders now." The reply, they claim from Edelson, "I'm the type of person that will take everything, every time." A meeting was then arranged at this Denver restaurant. Court documents allege $64,000 in cash was shown by Edelson to an officer as payment for 36 pounds of pot. Edelson was promptly arrested.
Well, we're doing a story about marijuana dealing on Facebook.
He now faces charges in a case which highlights how law enforcement is using social media to crack down on e-commerce in drugs. Gordon Coombs is a former Larimer County Sheriff's Department drug investigator who would go undercover on the internet to bust drug dealers.
And we had a backstory that in the social media that confirmed who I was allegedly.
We obtained Denver police policy documents on drug sting operations. They caution investigators they must have sufficient evidence that will demonstrate the predisposition of the suspects to possess or deal illegal drugs. But former prosecutor Karen Steinhauser says it's difficult for the defendant to prove they have been entrapped.
Would they be likely to commit this offense even if a police officer didn't pose as an undercover person selling?
In the case of Sean Edelson, his home in Parker was searched after the arrest. Inside, marijuana, cash, and hash extraction equipment was found. Police quote him as saying he moved to Colorado from New York because of marijuana. But those he met on Facebook may not really want to be his friends. Rick Salinger, CBS 4 News.
Use your common sense, everybody out there. Okay, so coming up on next Saturday, the 16th, the Cloud 420 Get Lifted tour is hitting Albuquerque, New Mexico. They're having a party at a private mansion. Originally, they were under the impression that medical patients could go there and medicate. But after further research, they decided that that would jeopardize people in the medical cannabis program here in New Mexico. So there will be no medicating there. But here's this interview with Justin Birch about the Cloud 420 magazine, which is debuting in Albuquerque in a month or so. And here's the report about the party next week if you'd like to go. And online today I have from Cloud 420 magazine and the Get Lifted tour, Justin Birch. They're holding an event on Saturday, the 16th of January from 4:20 p.m. until midnight. Tell me about the event, Justin.
Well, it's going to be held in a private mansion in the Foothills area. We're going to be doing a music video for a song called Dabba Dabba Goo by Diverse and Kevlar. We're going to have a comedy show with Spanky Hayes of MTV's Wildin' Out, Medicinal Mike of Nug Life Radio, and Stoner Rob. We're going to have seminars from Dave Valdez of New Mexico Brief Relief and Chef Big Sal from Colorado, and performances by Killer Priest of Wu-Tang Clan and Rapping Forte.
Wow, that's pretty jam-packed stuff to do there. So there's going to be music, and is there like a dance floor people will be able to dance, or is it just seating to watch somebody play? How's that working out?
Well, they can dance if they want. It's going to be enough room in the mansion where everybody can sit around and watch, or if they want to get up and dance, they could do that also.
Okay, fantastic. And David Valdez from New Mexico Brief Relief is going to give a seminar. I know that New Mexico Brief Relief is involved with helping people get signed up into the medical cannabis program here in New Mexico. So there was a little controversy early on. So let's just get this straight right now. There's going to be no medicating at all at the event, correct?
Yes, there will be no THC. There will be a CBD bar.
Well, that sounds interesting. Tell me about that.
Well, we're going to have a CBD boutique from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and they're going to have a bar where you can come up, have samples of the CBD, and purchase some CBD oils that you would like.
Okay, so these are CBD only extracts from obviously the hemp plant, most likely, with no THC. So it's legal for anybody if they to buy this product. I know that there's storefronts in Albuquerque that are doing this, and they're popping up all over the country. Will there be a charge for trying the CBD dab, or the dabs, or vaporizers? How are you going to be doing that?
Well, they're going to have vaporizers there, and it's free. So you can go up and take samples. But, of course, if you want your own bottle, you could purchase your own bottle. And CBD is used mostly, there's a lot of cases where they helped people with seizures. So there's people that's been on it for a couple years, and it actually removed them having seizures and helped them with their disability.
Right. Well, those of us in the medical industry know that for really great relief that you need a balance of CBD and THC. But I'm glad that people are finding that it's being helpful to them without the THC. That's a good thing. So what is the charge for the event?
Well, it's $30 for general admission and $50 for VIP.
Okay, is that per person or a couple or what?
Well, for couples, we have a deal for the general admission tickets where if you're a couple, you can get 2 tickets for $50 general admission.
Okay, so you save about $10 on that one. Again, so this is at a private mansion from 4:20 p.m. Saturday, January 16th till 12 a.m. Where how do people get the sign up and buy tickets and find out where the party is?
Well, there's a couple ways. You can go to getliftedtour.com and click on the tickets link, or for general admission, you can go to One Stop Smoke Shop, Full Spectrum, or Honeycomb One Smoke Shop in Albuquerque. And for VIP tickets, you got to go to Just Urban Smoke Shop or contact me directly at 505.
Go ahead, give out the number again. I'm sorry, I stepped on you.
505-301-5448.
Okay, and so tell us the difference between a general admission ticket and a VIP.
Well, general admission, you will arrive at the mansion at 4:20, and after the performances and whatnot, the shuttle will take you back to the destination. So VIP guests will still be at the event, and they can hang out with the guests, such as Killer Priest of Wu-Tang and all the other celebrities that will be there.
Okay, so you're saying that the event's actually taking place in 2 different locations?
No, it's taking place in the same location, but the shuttle leaves the event every hour. So after the performance is over, general admission people will be shuttled back to the parking location.
I see. So there's going to be a parking location to where everyone is going to park their car, and then the shuttle is going to take people up to the mansion that you're speaking of.
Yes, sir, because I didn't want to crowd the area with hundreds of cars and whatnot.
Right. So how often will the shuttle be leaving? Every 15 minutes?
No, it will be leaving every hour.
All right. So what if somebody gets there at 5 o'clock, or let's say 5:15? Are they going to have to wait till 6 o'clock to get to the venue?
No, everybody will be at the event before 4:20. We will have a shuttle that will shuttle everybody to the event before 4:20, and then that's when the shuttle will leave every hour after.
Oh, to go back to get their cars.
Yes, sir. So it'd be 5:20, 6:20,
Right.
7:20, like that.
Okay, so that's real good. So if people want to cut out early and can't make it to midnight, there's at the 20 after the hour there'll be shuttles leaving to go back to their cars.
Yeah, exactly. So that if they need to go home to their kids or anything else, they'd be able to get home.
Okay, so tell me about the Get Lifted tour and Cloud 420 magazine.
Well, Cloud 420 magazine is the cannabis magazine, and it will be released in New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, California, Portland, Oregon, and Anchorage, Alaska.
And where are they based out of?
Cloud 420 magazine is based out of Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh, no kidding. Very good. So it's local, but you're getting distribution through all of those medical and legal states. That sounds really, really cool. So anything else you'd like to tell us about the event? You can recap anything if you like.
Well, they can go to GetLiftedTour.com and see all the details and all the updates. We're going to be posting videos of the show in Albuquerque after, so people in Arizona can see how it went, so they can decide if they want to get tickets for the next show, March 26th in Phoenix, Arizona.
Aha, fantastic. Well, do you think anybody will be streaming some stuff on Periscope or any of those live streaming?
Yeah, there will be definitely a lot of videos being posted, social media, and on the website.
Fantastic. So once again, that's Cloud 420 Magazine presents the Get Lifted Tour. It's going to be this Saturday, January 16th, from 4:20 p.m. until 12 a.m. What time would you like to see people start arriving to the shuttle place?
That will be 3 p.m.
Okay, so 3 p.m. if you get there, you'll get shuttled up to the party, and it all sounds very interesting. So I have one more little thing to play before we take a real quick break and then come back and talk about the International Cannabis Experience with Jeremy Norrie. Here is a little clip I pulled, Steve D'Angelo talking about finding out what time he was born.
We got time for one Facebook question. It comes from Jason. They want to know, how cool was it for you, Steve, to be born at 420? And did you think it was kind of an ominous sign?
Well, you know, I didn't even know that I was born at 420 until like a few years ago, when an assistant of mine who was going through my files and cleaning up a bunch of stuff that I had piled all over the place was on the other side of the room, and she goes, "No way!" And I looked over, I'm like, "What?" She goes, "No way!" And I'm like, "What?" And she runs over and says, "This must be a fake," you know, and she shows it to me, and there's my original birth certificate from Pennsylvania, 4:20 p.m. in the afternoon. I was completely blown away. I don't know how Mom arranged that, all right, but I will be eternally grateful to her for getting it done.
Obviously not fake, but most likely it was fate. So we're going to come back in just a second with our interview right after this.
It's all about the 420 MMJRadio.
And we're back. And online today I have for you one of the co-creators of the ICE show, which is the International Cannabis Experience. It's going to be in Las Vegas, Nevada, January 26th, 27th, and 28th. Welcome, Jeremy Norrie.
Thank you very much for having me.
Tell us, what is the International Cannabis Experience in Las Vegas?
Okay, so the International Cannabis Experience in Las Vegas is a new show that I am doing in partnership with my friend Eric, who does another show pretty well known out in Las Vegas. It's called the American Glass Expo. And his show is a business-to-business show that has been happening for maybe about 10 years out there. And it's twice a year, and usually in the same location in Vegas. The thing that's a little different about it is that they take over a hotel, and the booths are actually hotel rooms. So it's a little bit different than your normal trade show type of an event. And that's been a really cool experience doing those over the years. And what we've been able to do this year is move that show over to the Hard Rock, and then it opened up our location at the Alexis Park for Eric and I to do something more along the lines of kind of a merger of what he does and what I do.
Uh-huh.
I also do a couple other events. One of the events is called the Secret Cup, and another event is called Chalice Festival.
Well, the Chalice Festival and the Secret Cup are both, very popular, and the Chalice, I understand it was a very fantastic event this past year in Southern California.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this event of yours, the International Cannabis Experience, is going to be at the Alexis Park Resort Hotel in Vegas. Is that, I'm not familiar with that, is that right in the middle of everything?
It's directly across the street from the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. So it's not on the Strip. It's actually a little off the Strip, just like the Hard Rock.
Okay, so tell us about the event itself. I know that we're going to talk also today about people that want to have a booth there, that maybe have a business that they'd like to promote. And there's also, tell us first about the competition. You're going to have actually a competition for bud, and what else will be?
Yeah, absolutely. So the other events that I do are concerts, but they also have a competition side to them. And so in doing this event, we kind of wanted to make a little change for the direction of the competition and incorporate some of the things we've been noticing involving marketing and business. And so this particular competition is openly branded. Some of the original cannabis cups in Amsterdam were all openly branded, and that model hasn't been used in the United States, really.
All right, tell us what openly branded is, because some people may not understand that term.
Okay, so there's various different companies that make hash or grow flower, and they usually enter their samples into these competitions and have them blindly relabeled and then presented to the judges without any sort of labeling, without any sort of name or instruction as to what it is, or the details vary, but it's supposed to be a blind competition for pretty much all of the other events.
Okay.
Our event, you would get your samples with the labeling in the packaging from the person entering it. So it's a little bit different than some of the other shows. You would actually know everything about the entry that you are sampling.
All right, so for instance, Buds and Roses enters a lot of these contests. They're from Studio City, when you use Kyle Cushman. So let's say they entered some strain of cannabis. The judges would also know who it's coming from, or
yeah,
just...
so if they wanted to enter, they would have the ability to enter with as much or as little detail as they'd like to put on. So they could tell you who grew the cannabis, they could tell you who processed it, they could tell you every little detail about it. They could even tell you how it was grown, or anything they want to promote about the entry. And that goes all into it. You can put it in your own packaging where their analytical results are available.
Mm-hmm.
You can really go the full route, however, as little or as much as you'd like to put in to presenting your sample to its fullest.
Okay, so what are the categories that will be judged?
So there's flour and there's hash. So you would either enter, the amounts are 80 grams of flour, and that would be 40 samples that each weigh 2 grams. So you would be presenting 40 2-gram samples. It comes to a total of 80 grams. And that's for flour.
Okay, so if somebody, let's say somebody grew Girl Scout cookies and they wanted to enter theirs, they would have to provide you with 80 grams, which would be of that for one entry, and that would be enough to satisfy all the judges. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. That's
Okay.
absolutely right.
And
And they would
what-
also need to pay the fee, which is $300.
All right, so for $300, you get to enter one strain. If you want to enter multiple strains, is there a discount, or is it $300 for each strain?
Yeah, if you want to enter multiple, you need to discuss it with us exactly how many you're going to enter, and we can give you a personal price on that.
Okay, and tell us about the judges. Who are the judges, and if people want to be a judge, tell us all about that.
Okay, so there's two ways that you can be a judge. There's going to be some VIP judges that are essentially decided by my partner. They are people who come to the show that usually are sponsors or they are contributors to the show. So they'll have an opportunity to purchase a judge's pack. In addition to that, we have expert judges who will be selected by myself. And they are people that are suggested to us. So we've asked for people to make suggestions as to who they think should be a judge, and then throughout those suggestions, I'll go through and select the few that we think will be the best fit.
I've always wondered this, Jeremy, and I've been wanting to ask Danny Danko this for a long time. Over how long a period of time are these products, these entries being judged? I mean, are the judges getting their kits a few days ahead of time? How is that done? Because I don't know how good I would be judging my fourth strain of bud, you know?
Well, yeah, basically what you're talking about is a common problem. I know a little bit about what the other shows do. They have their samples provided ahead of time. I'm not exactly sure how much, but it's a pretty ample amount of time ahead of the show. And the people that they select to judge, you basically hope for the best and that they will be diligent about going through it and taking it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
For us, we are going to be presenting the samples about a week ahead of time. And the judges that we have are not going to be friends of mine or colleagues that we work with or girls that work for the show.
Darn.
Those are not going to be the experts that are going to be making the decisions.
Gotcha.
About
You're
this
talking
sort of
about
thing.
people that know cannabis, they've maybe been judges before, and they're experts.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least pretty much if I select you to be a judge of growing cannabis, you should have grown cannabis at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a judge for concentrates, gosh, I really would like for you to have at least made concentrates at some point in your life so you have a greater understanding of what's going on.
So as far as the concentrates are concerned, okay, we talked about the bud. The flower is going to be $300. You have to enter 80 grams. In the hash competition, it's also $300, I see. And what do you have to
So
enter?
the amount for hash is a little bit less. It's still 40 samples, but they're half-gram samples. So it's a total of 20 grams of hash.
Okay, that sounds interesting. So, how many places will place, so to speak, win place
We
in the
have
show?
a wide variety of prizes that you can win. So we have prizes that are based on the marketing. So there's a best packaging and a best display. But we also have prizes that are based on analytical results. So there is a lowest ppm prize, and there is highest CBD,
Nice.
and those kind of things that are decided by the lab.
High THC as well, obviously?
Yeah, we have a high THC and a most terpenes, those kind of awards.
So all of this will be, so there's a lab that's up and running now in Las Vegas?
There's a couple, and yeah, we do have one that we will be working with.
And so out of that $300 fee, some of that is going to go, to have that stuff tested, I guess.
Yeah, theoretically, that fee is for processing and for the aspect that we have to handle and buying the judges' kits and things like that. So when you get your pack, you'll get it in something nice, and when you receive it, you'll have it already have all the samples will have already been tested.
And do you get some kind of a cup or a trophy, or do you have a name for your main prize?
So we have 3 different awards. We have a Harvest Awards, so that will be for the flower, and then we have the Resin Awards. Those are for the concentrates. And there's a variety. So there's for flowers, sativa, indica, and hybrid. For the resin, there's BHO, rosin, water hash, oils. We tried to incorporate all the different types of consistencies and styles.
So will there be like some kind of a trophy that people will get for first prize or something?
You know, I don't know exactly what the prize is. It's likely to be some sort of a trophy or maybe some sort of glass prize.
You should call it the Icy. Anyways, so this event again is January 26th, 27th, 28th, and so you have a couple of weeks to make plans. If you want to exhibit, if you have a business that wants to exhibit, do you have some booths open right now? And tell us about some of the people that will be there and their products and who might want a booth.
Absolutely. So this is more of a merging of the regular type of Cannabis Cup show and the business summits that you have seen getting so popular. So our focus is on marketing and education. So there's not a big concert part to the show. There is speeches and seminars, and we can get into that detail later. But for the people that are vendors, there's an opportunity to have a booth or a showroom and showcase your products, just like the people have been doing at the American Glass Expo for so long. So it's really a wonderful opportunity to reach some really, really high-end clientele that don't attend any of the other shows. They just come out a couple times a year to pick up inventory for their shops, and that's it. So it's a real different customer that is going to be out here at our event. We have 7,000 businesses that attend the American Glass Expo.
And that expo, you say, is going on at the same time across the street?
Yeah, that's right.
So there'll be lots of
days,
people.
different
Will,
hours.
Yes. Same days, different hours, but a lot of people will be coming to that show that have been coming to it for years, and therefore will probably walk across the street or down the block and go to your show. So you do have some booths available, and some of them. Do you have like a main showroom, and then you have the actual hotel rooms themselves?
The main area is the Artist Arena. So if anybody's ever attended the American Glass Expo, most of the high-end artists are all located in the same area, and we have the exact same location for the International Cannabis Experience. So it'll be pipe and drape, just like the AGE show, but the companies that'll be featured in there might be extraction companies, they might be T-shirt companies, or edible companies. It'll be everything that wouldn't fit into the American Glass Expo.
All right. So, and as far as the attendees are concerned, the attendees have to have a medical marijuana card. Is that? Tell us about who can come.
This is a medical card only event. So people that will be attending our event will all be patients, and we have a very strict registration process for that. So every single person that will be in attendance has to have a medical card or medical recommendation that's legal.
Whatever's legal in their state is the reciprocity they have in Nevada.
Yes, exactly. Right. So Nevada is luckily one of the places that accepts all the recommendations and cards from other states.
And if somebody wants to exhibit and have a booth, what is available to them? What sizes and what prices?
So the 6-foot tables are the smallest ones that we have, and then the 10x10 booths are what most people will be having. The 10x10 booths are $1,100 just on their own, but we have a special deal if you want to have a booth and a separate sleeping room. The combination of that is $1,450. So you would have your hotel room for the entire duration of the show. It's 5 days, I believe, and 4 nights.
Wow, okay.
And you also have your booth for the 3 days of the show.
All right, so if anybody wants to talk to you more about getting a booth, and also you have the actual hotel rooms themselves. What's the cost of those, where you exhibit in a hotel room?
So I don't have the hotel rates in front of me, but the hotel is the Alexis Park, and all of their hotel rooms are available online. It's very easy. I believe they're somewhere around $60 a night at the bare minimum.
Right.
So
Okay, but
that might also have a resort fee on top of that.
it would be nice to stay right at the event. And of course, for the you're saying that some exhibitors are actually going to be exhibiting in the hotel rooms themselves. Okay, so what is the charge if you want to have a whole room?
So the showrooms are actually the exact same price as the 10 by 10 booth. So if you prefer to have a showroom, it's the same.
Okay, so it's exactly the same, and for the 1450, and then there's a 1650 size as well.
There are larger rooms. If some of the people have been to the show, they know that there's multiple story rooms, and they can get really extravagant if what you want to do is combine companies, or if you want to really, really showcase a lot of merchandise, you might need a larger showroom.
Okay, so but in those showrooms for 1450, you get to sleep in that room as well. So it's sort of
you get a separate sleeping room.
Oh, you get a
So
separate sleeping room. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So every showroom comes with a separate sleeping room.
Okay, so can you give us an idea of some of the people that are signed up and who will be exhibiting there? What type of stuff? I mean, you're not going to have glass because that's going to be across the street, right?
Well, you never know, because some of the glass artists might really want to focus on the retail side of sales, and we also have this event open to the general public. So you might see a little bit of glass from the other side, maybe some of the really, really high-end stuff, but it's not going to have the focus on glass like the American Glass Expo.
Right. When
You're
you
more
say,
likely to.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. When you say it's open to the general public, what do you mean? Because you said the event is really just for medical patients.
Yeah. So if you are a medical patient and you're not a business, you can attend the event. So for the American Glass Expo, it's only open to businesses.
Oh, I understand. Now I understand. Yes, that was like a wholesale business-to-business thing only. Right, I got you there.
Exactly.
All right, so again, why don't you give out some contact information if someone wants to contact you in regard to getting a booth, because time is short and I'm sure people want to plan.
No problem. The best way to get in touch with us is through our email. It's info@internationalcannabisexperience.com. We also have an Instagram. It's i.c.experience. And you can reach us either way. We should be pretty diligent about getting back to you.
Fantastic. So now let's talk about the event itself and who's going to be there, who's speaking, and for the attendees. Let's tell the attendees what they're going to get and what is the price for attendees.
No problem. So for somebody who's looking to attend the show, it's going to be a little bit different type of show than they're used to. So if you're maybe a mainstream person that's looking to get into the cannabis industry, it's a very good show for you to go to for that. If you are looking to focus on a specific part of education, that could be a very good reason for you to come. We'll have focuses on brand achievement and education, law, the media, women's advocacy, because the cannabis industry actually has quite a number of women professionals in it.
Mm-hmm.
And we also are showing all the normal products that you would see. So if you have come out to a cannabis cup, or maybe you've even attended a secret cup or chalice, a lot of the same booths that you would see at that type of an event will be at our event, providing samples and letting you really see what they have to offer before you purchase it.
What is the rule on medicating at the show? Is there a special medication area, or is it not allowed in public in Nevada?
There is a special medication area basically at the Alexis Park, and that's why we'll be checking all the medical recommendations to allow people into that area.
And as far as purchasing of bud and cannabis, will that be done at the show, or are there some dispensaries exhibiting there, or do you have to go to a dispensary when you get to town that's open?
Well, there's a variety of different types of companies exhibiting at the show, and I do know that some of the places from town are planning to do the show and promote their local dispensaries with free cards to go to their shop and get something special. So if you were to attend our event and you would go to their booth, you would get a card to go back to their shop and get something that you wouldn't normally be able to have.
Okay, and again, it's the January 26th, 27th, and 28th. So there's going to be different seminars and speakers on each day, so that someone comes, if they want to come for the complete 3 days, they're going to see a lot of different things?
Yeah, they're going to be able to see quite a lot of different things. You know, there'll be pretty much everything you could possibly imagine. So there will be... You know, it's not as large as we would like for it to be ultimately, but I think we'll have at least an example of every kind of company in the cannabis industry.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay, so again, is there a way to buy tickets online right now if you want to buy tickets?
yeah, absolutely. Well, the best way is to contact us through our email. And then if you send us an email, we can instruct you on how to get tickets.
Okay, and I know that your website that's going to have all this stuff on it is being updated right now. Do you have an idea when that will be back up?
It should be up very, very soon, and maybe even by the time this is airing. So go ahead and give it a try. It's www.internationalcannabisexperience.com. And we have tickets available at the door, too. So if you have any trouble or anything, you can just show up and bring your medical recommendation. Just make sure your paperwork's legit.
And people from states where they issue cards, of course, you know, always bring your card with you. That's your ID to get into any kind of a dispensary in a state like Nevada that has reciprocity. So I'm gonna ask you the most important question I've asked you so far yet. Okay, I hope you have the answer.
Mm-hmm.
For people traveling to the show, where is the closest In-N-Out burger?
So the closest In-N-Out is that one right on the Strip, I believe.
Okay, yeah, that's not too far from the Rio, I think, right?
Yeah, it's right. It's on the other side of the freeway, so it's not on the Strip side. It's on the other side with the Palms and the Rio.
Is there anything else that we didn't hit on that you'd like to tell people?
I would like to mention that we'll have doctors on site to write medical recommendations if you don't have one and you are, somebody that could get one.
Okay, well,
let
me ask you about that. Okay, that's interesting to me. So you're talking about if you're a Nevada resident, or is this? I mean, if someone's traveling, I'm coming in from New Mexico now. If I come, so I have a card, but if I brought a friend of mine who doesn't have a card, you're saying that he could get a Nevada license?
Well, if your friend from New Mexico is the one who's coming out there, I would have to talk to the doctor personally, but my understanding is that he cannot get a recommendation from the doctor. There might be some other type of alternative there, so don't consider it a deal breaker. But the doctors that are writing Nevada licenses, to my understanding, are writing them for residents.
Okay, so if you are a Nevada resident and you don't have a card yet, this is the place you could go to, see a doctor, talk to him, and if everything is copacetic, then I guess you can get a card. That sounds good. You get people signed up. How are things going in Nevada? Do you have experience with the Nevada dispensaries?
You know, I'm slowly starting to get back into it. When I had experience, it was a very new thing, and they've kind of been going through the growing pains of dialing in their medical laws over the last few years. So it's been changing. Right now, it seems like the new horizon, and they are about to really, really move forward with all kinds of progressive medical cannabis laws and businesses.
And later this year, adult use recreation is most likely going to pass. And when that happens, I've said it before on the show, Jeremy, that Nevada is going to, and Las Vegas in general, will be the capital, cannabis capital of the world. This is where people will be coming. It's blows Amsterdam right out of the water.
I definitely have heard very similar type of sentiment. Like I've heard that basically Nevada is looking to, or Las Vegas maybe specifically, is looking to be that cannabis tourism destination that everybody wants. so badly.
Certainly going to be. So once again, everybody, it's coming up in just a couple of weeks, January 26th, 27th, and 28th, and I believe that's midweek. Let me see. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Book your reservations. A couple of weeks ahead of time. You get a good airfare. Plan on driving if you are in California or surrounding state, and check this out. What is the deadline for people that want to enter bud into the contest, bud or hash?
Okay, so the deadline for that is January 19th.
Okay.
So it's coming up quickly.
Okay, and so the same email address you gave out before for information for booths, people who want to enter the contest can give that out again.
Absolutely, yeah. If you want to go ahead and hit us up on the email, we pretty much guarantee you this will be one of the most successful shows you'll do this year.
And so that email again is info@internationalcannabisexperience.com. Jeremy Noor, I wish you success. Maybe I'll see you up there if I can make it. And I appreciate you coming on Medical Marijuana Radio.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me again.
My pleasure. We'll be right back after this.
Bright light city, gonna set my soul, gonna set my soul on fire. I got a whole lot of money that's ready to burn, so get them stakes up high. Oh, there's 1,000 birdie women just waiting out there with bright red lips and the devil may care. Well, I'm just a devil with love to spare in Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Oh, how I wish that there was more than 24 hours in a day. And even if there was 40 more, I wouldn't sleep a minute of it away. 'Cause there's blackjack, poker, and a roulette wheel. A fortune's won and lost on every deal. All you need's a strong heart and nerves of steel. In Viva Las Vegas, Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas has neon flashing and crap tables crashing, hopes right down the drain. Viva Las Vegas turns day into night, and the night turns right into the place where life begins. Well, I'm gonna keep on running, gonna have me some fun, even if it costs me my very last dime. And if I wind up broke, I'll always remember that I had me a swinging time. I want to give it everything I've got. Lady luck, let them die, stay hot. Let me shoot a seven whenever a shot in Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Viva. Viva Las Vegas.
The medical marijuana. The medical marijuana. Radio show. The medical
I want to thank my two guests. Jeremy Nori wanted me to mention that Ed Rosenthal will be a featured speaker at the International Cannabis Experience. Again, Ed Rosenthal, one of the heroes of the medical growing cannabis industry and the cannabis industry as well. I want to thank my two radio mentors, both with the initials HS. Thank you for your inspiration. What else? If you would like to be a guest on this show, have a product or a website, contact us at info@mmjradio.com. Any questions that you may have. Don't forget my weekly Wednesdays with Larawana show. There's going to be some changes. I'll be putting that probably up on my MMJ Radio website sometime starting up this week. Let's see what else. I guess I covered it all. I'd like to make this an interactive show one of these days soon. I'd like to go live like I did a couple years ago and take your calls. So keep that in mind, everybody.
Shalom.
Bapu dini, sa bapu bapu bapu.